I woke up one day with a sunflower growing in my backyard. One that apparently my daughter had planted without me knowing. She was in cahoots with her dad on this one. She would just pull me outside to show me how tall the sunflower was getting comparatively to her height. And so I had this beautiful sunflower I would just stare at while doing the morning rush and getting ready. And I just felt this sense of peace and awe and joy. But then one day, as I was staring at it, I realized, duh, I think we all know where I'm going with this, that the head of the sunflower turns to the one thing that nurtures it, the one thing that gives it beam of energy to grow, the one thing it needs and loves the most, the sun. Of course, watching how my kids interact with flowers, and particularly this sunflower, made me realize something deeper about how humans interact with what sustains them. We all have something we naturally gravitate towards, but unlike sunflowers, we often ignore it, which in turn raises the question, why are we all turning our heads away from the thing that gives us the most life? Why are we not more like sunflowers, turning our focus and attention to what energizes us and makes us feel alive? Whether that's drawing, painting, writing, Pilates, storytelling, kung fuing, made that term up, reading, debating, so on and so forth. Why are we so quick to allocate our time to everything but to whatever is our sun? To go up against whatever is our sun is to go against our nature, against what pulls us towards fulfillment. Because the sunflower doesn't grow or thrive if it doesn't align with what fulfills its needs. It would wilt. And so I was thinking, we're all unknowingly and probably silently wilting because we're directing our focus on the wrong target or targets, whether that be the latest trend, fashion to partake in, a toxic relationship, social status, social media, curation, wealth accumulation, etc. And I don't believe that any of these things that I've just mentioned, that we're absorbed in day in and day out, are giving us what we need in terms of sustained fulfillment or a path to self-actualization. They are, in fact, taking us further and further away from what matters most: family, relationships, self-awareness, personal growth, values, exploring the world, among other things. So, with all of that being said, I thought I would put together a little list of how we can all be more like sunflowers and learn from them. Number one, find your sun. Now, the sage advice of the day is to think about what you spent the most time on as a child. That's usually the first indication of what you're drawn to. It's the thing that probably lights you up the most, even now as an adult. And it has nothing to do with being productive or monetizing or monetization, for your information. For example, for me, it's writing, any type of writing. As a kid, a preteen, and a teenager, I found solace in words. I spent hours journaling, composing poems, updating my blogs. And this eventually turned into writing formal blog posts for my website and for other people. I am at my best, less stressed, most fulfilled when I sit down to write, to put my thoughts in order. And in turn, when I can't find the time to write, I become a monster, right? Because if my creative energy isn't appropriately directed, it becomes chaotic and manifests itself as anger. And then people around me suffer. I literally become insufferable. I either write or I wilt, because writing is my sun. Now, anything that consistently drains you or distracts you from what makes you feel alive can be considered, quote unquote, a dark force. Personally, this dark force usually comes in the form of social media algorithms showing me exactly what I'm interested in. Random projects that have nothing to do with my goals. Comparing myself to X or Y because they have their shit together. Or wasting my time online looking at products I'll never need and don't even really want. So my task to you is to take some time to think about your sun, what it could be, what it is, and how you can start moving more in its direction. Here's some questions that you can ask yourself. What makes you lose track of time? What kind of struggles do you enjoy? What energizes you or makes you feel alive while doing it? What gives you an afterglow once you're done with it? What do you look forward to the most? And what are you craving to talk about and share with the world or with the people around you? And if you feel like you have more than one sun or you're unsure what it is, you don't have to panic, because most of us circle around several before realizing which one truly keeps us alive and energizes us. Number 2, notice the shadows, aka the dark forces. I have a feeling that these are pretty much the same for all of us, starting from surrounding ourselves with the wrong people that are keeping us stuck in our old ways or pressuring us to be someone else, to doom scrolling on social media for hours on end, feeling like shit about ourselves. Am I right or am I right? Now, I understand the pull of Kylo Ren. He's definitely a cutie patootie, but you need to show him the door, okay? You can resist him. The moment you turn towards the activity or area that makes you feel alive is the moment you start inviting all the good you're looking for into your life. For example, you're not going to feel good about yourself selling crappy products on TikTok Shop. It's freaking draining, empty, and a million people are doing the same thing. They're just looking for a quick buck. That's not going to be your ticket to wealth, success, and fulfillment, to be honest. It's tempting and full of dopamine hits, but it reeks of the dark force. In turn, what will make you feel good about yourself is to unlock new opportunities should you master a new skill. And I promise you'll be further along in the long run. Because sunflowers don't waste time twisting toward neon lights and lampposts. They know the real deal. Number 3, bask in the sun as often as you can. Every chance you get, immerse yourself in your sun. Even if you can't live in it 24/7, you can lean toward it. Write a few sentences. Play a song, sketch in the margins. These little tilts matter. Every degree closer strengthens your stalk, thickens your roots, and helps you rise taller. If you're obsessed with illustrating, coming up with new styles of drawing, and using new tools like Canva, for example, go all in. Watch every video, read every book, oversaturate yourself to the point of obsession. The more you practice, the better you get. And the better you get, the more opportunities arise, such as collaborations, new ideas, or perhaps even a call from the government to rein in the witchcraft that you're dabbling in. But either way, there's movement towards something. Number 4, spread the sunlight. Don't keep it locked up. Share what you're learning. Bring it into conversations. Sprinkle it on your work. Imagine being able to capture the sunlight emitted from your sun and apply it to other areas of your life, making them shine brighter. I like to think of that as the mark of the sun. Dun, dun, dun. But this is especially important if you don't have the capacity to turn around and face your sun completely, right? Not everyone can just quit their job to become a full-time writer, which I wish I could. And unlike sunflowers, we're not all or nothing. We can still thrive by catching bits of sunlight throughout the day, even if we're not fully facing it. So for example, what I'm doing to get closer to fully facing my sun is sitting at 9 p.m. after a whole day of work, kids, and other nonsense to write, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm finding the time to do what lights me up, what, tilts me towards the sun. However, I can also jot down short sentences and quick ideas throughout the day so that the residue of sunlight can be seen everywhere. And I leave marks of it that I can pick up on. And of course, I don't want to dismiss the fact that responsibilities and survival sometimes keeps us in the shade. But even then, we can tilt slightly towards the sun because we know where it is and we know how it makes us feel. And we don't need to uproot our entire life to start thriving. We can just turn a little bit more towards the sun every single day, and we will feel its energy pulling us upwards. And I really think that the sunflower is the best analogy in this case to really help us conceptualize that we are moving too far away from what brings us to life because of external conditions, things that are grabbing our attention when we need to be really reining it in to our sun. So I will leave you with that. Hopefully food for thought, food for your sunflower. And I'll see you here next week on the You're Worth Knowing podcast.